Hey everybody, it's Steve from Corporate Gone Country. I'm just an ex-corporate guy trying to do country things, and sometimes I even get them right. Well, the country thing I'm doing today is maintaining my John Deere X304 four-wheel steer 42-inch lawn tractor. I've got a home maintenance kit that I ordered off Amazon. Let's see what's in it and talk about what to order. Before you order the maintenance kit, it's really important to get in here and take a look at this sticker right here that's on the engine. You can see this one has a code FS600V. It's a Kawasaki engine on a John Deere tractor. And you might have a different model number than this, but it's really important to look at this sticker before you order the maintenance kit. This is the maintenance kit that I ordered for that FS600V engine. It's the LG265 kit. That's really important. If you have a different engine number, say an FH491V, you're not going to want LG265, you're going to want LG256. It's rather confusing, so that engine number is super important. We've got a couple quarts of 10W30 engine oil. We have an oil filter. We have a fuel filter. We have a couple of NGK spark plugs. We have an air filter and a pre-filter that goes over the air filter. And then we have this sticker where you can record the service date and the hours. The tools that I've gathered include this pair of pliers for taking off the fuel filter, a grease gun for looking at some grease fittings. I've got a pressure gauge as I want to inflate the tires. I've also got that oil pan and container down there that I want to collect the old oil in, but that's going to be a bit problematic, as we'll see when we start to drain the old oil. You can see I've only got 265 hours on this machine, and I've had it 10 years, so that's only about 26, 27 hours a year that I'm using it. I'm looking it over. It's in pretty good shape. I've got a little battery issue right there that I just need to clean up. The service technician that last serviced this 2 years ago, almost to the day, recorded that it's got, that looks like 215 hours. So it's been pretty much 50 hours right on the dot since this has been maintained. I don't feel too bad about that. You know, it's not like, okay, it's been 2 years, but it's only been 50 hours. So let's change this air filter first. You just rotate these tabs 90 degrees and pull off the cover. Now it looks like there's a little kind of wing nut thing here that will loosen this clamp that's holding the air filter on there. So should just be able to pull that off. But we'll take the new one and we'll simply put that pre-filter over it, turn it back to the hose, and then go ahead and retighten this clamp. You can see what it looks like right there. It's on the bottom. It's just a hose clamp that has a convenient turning nut on it. So put that back on there and put these back in. Tighten them down. And that's an easy air filter change. We'll go ahead and move to the spark plug. It's just right there. So I've got a 13/16 deep well socket here. We'll just pull this cap off and take our socket, put it in there, see if we can't break that loose. It came loose pretty easy. Go ahead and take the old one out. And there you have it. And take our new NGK spark plug, unbox it, and then put it right in the hole. Turn it by hand to start with. And then when you feel resistance, just go ahead and put your 13/16 socket back on and give it a little snug And that should be good. And then pop the cap back on, and you're good to go. You do the same thing on the left side of the machine. The only difference is that you've got these cables right here that are in your way, and you'll just have to move those out of your way a little bit with your hand to get to that spark plug so you can remove it and put the new one in. Okay, now we want to do the fuel filter, which is right here. Looks like this one's going to be a little bit tricky to get out. You've got a clamp right here that's easy to get to. But then you got another one way back here, and actually the tabs on it are underneath. So what I'm going to try is I'm going to take this one off first and see if I can't raise that up and get to the other one without having to take all this other stuff off. So what I'm doing is I'm going to just get as big of a bite on this clamp as I can. Open it up to the max, and then just try to work it over this little lip that's developed in the hose. But I don't want to bust these tabs off right here. Okay, got it. Took a little bit of doing, but got there. Now I should be able to work this off right here and free up this end. There we go. And we got some fuel coming out, but that's to be expected. Now hopefully I can get to that clamp right there and get this old fuel filter out. It looks pretty dirty. Okay, well, we got the old one off, and there was really no good way to film that. Whoop, spilling a little fuel out there. There's the clamp. What I did was I just moved the battery out of the way. There was this battery bungee cord holder was kind of in the way. I slid the battery over that way. I was able to get a little bit more access. Was able to get it off, and now I'm ready to put the new one on. I need to put this clamp back on the end of that hose. Okay, I was able to restore that clamp back to its original position, so that part of the fuel filter is attached. Now I just need to reattach this hose here and reclamp it at the top. It was pointless for me to show this on camera because my hands were always in the way. So we'll put this back together and the fuel filter should be done. The fuel filter is back in place and clamped. The battery is cleaned off at the top, cleaned off the terminals a little bit, and re-strapped it in with that bungee. So we're ready to test it out after we change the oil, and we'll be looking for leaks, if any. So I'm ready to drain the oil, but unfortunately this basically an oil pan that I have where you just let the oil flow on top of it, and it drains into this hole right here. This isn't fitting very well. I've got a feeling that it's going to get all oil over the floor, so I'm going to rig up something different. Okay, I found something that's almost perfect. I can just use this old bleach bottle that already had a cutout in it. I can put it under here like this, and it should hold what's in there. So I'll just loosen this cap up, move this plug. Hope it works. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put the plug back in just for a little bit here and dump this oil so this old bleach bottle doesn't get too full. And I blocked the tire there and there so it doesn't roll, and I'm going to be jacking up basically the back right corner of the machine so more oil will flow to that drain plug. You see that back tire is off the ground. The machine's leaning that way, and hopefully that'll increase the flow of oil so I can get all the old oil out. And we've got a little bit more flow coming out than what we had previously, not much more. So this will just help get the last bit of that remnant of oil out of there so we can put all clean oil, new oil back in. Just hand tighten, and let's see if we can't get that filter off. Now, I don't have an oil filter wrench, and I'm a spiritual man, so I'm going to say, Lord, Please allow the technician who put this on last to just have hand tightened it. Pray in Jesus' name. I'm going to have to try to get this off with my hands. Let's see what happens. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you. And I put those paper towels there to collect the oil that inevitably will leak out of there. Okay, it's time to put the oil filter back on. I've already put a thin layer of oil on the gasket there, and I'm just going to do this with one hand. It is hand tightened, and that should be fine right there. Now the owner's manual says that this machine will take 1.8 quarts. So each one of these is a quart. So what I'm going to need is to put one whole one in there and then 0.8 of another one. So for the second one, I'm going to have to leave about 6 ounces in the bottom of this to achieve a 1.8 fill of the crankcase. And we'll just go ahead and start the first one. So that's 1 quart in there. And now we'll put 0.8 quarts from the second bottle. See if I can do this. Now these bottles have a transparent edge on them, so you can kind of get an idea of how much is left. Okay, I'm looking at this bottle using my headlight, and I'm right on 8 ounces left in it. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute, then I'm going to check the level. And the dipstick is showing right about full. So I think we're good. Now before I test it and look for leaks and make sure the spark plugs are in right, that kind of thing, I'm going to go ahead and inflate the tires. Right there, you probably can't read it, but it says inflate to 10 psi max. That's what the rear tires say. And then if I go to the front tire, I know you can't see it here, but it says inflate to 14 psi max. So I'm going to get my compressor out. I'm going to inflate the tires and take care of that. And then the other thing that I'm going to do before I fire it up is I'm going to lubricate on the grease fittings. Now there's one that's right there in the middle of the front axle. There's also one right there on the end of the front axle. There's one on the other side as well. There's a grease fitting right there on top of that spindle. I'm on the right side of the machine here. We also have another grease fitting right here that you can't see, but I can feel it. It's right there with my finger. I think I'm going to have to lower this deck to get to it. And then you have another one right there on this pedal. Right there. That greases that lift pedal. On the grease fittings on the rear axle, it's easier if you access them from the front of the wheel. That is it right there. So I can get my grease gun in there and get that one, and I'll turn the wheel and get the one on the other side after I turn the wheel to expose it.
Well, I went ahead and started it up, but my microphone didn't handle the engine noise too well, so I ended up checking for leaks and didn't find any oil or gas leaks, so we're good to go.
All right, well, that's today's episode of Corporate Gone Country. We took an LG 265 maintenance kit on an FS 600V Kawasaki engine, John Deere X304 42-inch mower with four-wheel steer, and we changed the oil filter, the fuel filter, the air filter. We greased it up, we inflated the tires, and spark plugs as well. So with the exception of the blades, which I'll make the subject of another video, this thing is ready for the spring cutting season in 2025. Thank you for watching today's episode of Corporate Gone Country. If you like what you see here, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate your viewership and hope to see you on a future video. Bye now.